welcome everyone. It's really a pleasure to have you with us today. Today we will have one more session from our Aceler Tech Talks that we are having every Wednesday at 4 p.m. GMT time. Now today we will discuss specific thing here in Portugal. We will discuss investment opportunities for your startup if you are thinking about coming to Portugal. Okay, I would also like to remind you that these sessions are being made in the Accelerate program. That is acceleration program that you can apply and that will accelerate your startup and will help you to come to Portugal and to see if the Portugal is the right place for your startup to start or to grow. Okay, but today it's not about that. Today it's about investment. That's what all of you want to hear. And to help me discuss with you the investment opportunities in Portugal, we will have with us Miguel Barbosa from Portugal Ventures, Afonso Babu from Core Angels, Afonso,
Yes.
Rui Rodrigues from Indico Capital, and
Hello.
Tasha from and Tasha from Alicia Play. Hello
Hello,
everyone.
guys.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you with us and to discuss with us the investment in Portugal. You know, there are a lot of people that doesn't know how can get investment here, and they are thinking to came to Portugal to start. But well, before we start the discuss itself, I would like to invite you to explain us a little bit about what you do, what is your investment strategy, all of that. Miguel, maybe you could start.
Okay. First of all, thank you Fernando for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I'm here on behalf. My name is Miguel Barbosa. I'm the investor director in tourism for Portugal Ventures. Portugal Ventures has been considered by CB Insight as most active venture capital in Portugal, or by the CD Room, by one of the 50 venture capitals in Europe. Um, at Portugal Ventures, we invest in startups with four verticals, which is digital, engineer manufacturing, life sciences, and tourism. We have been doing this as Portugal Ventures since 2012. In 2012, we were a result of a merger of three existing venture capital companies. So, although we exist as Portugal Ventures for 9 years, we have over 30 years of experience in the venture capital and private equity sector in Portugal. We have invested since 2012 in around 130 new startups, something like 150 million euros, and we invest through calls, which is we open specific periods so that entrepreneurs from throughout the world can apply to our investment programs. We have just finished the third edition of the Call Tourism by the end of January, where we have received 59 applications that we are now processing into investment. That's a small pitch to start with.
Don't worry, that's fine. That's fine. It's nice to know that there is this kind of investment on this industry. And what about you, Afonso? What do you do in the Core Angels? Can you talk with us a little bit more of that?
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry if I'm having some network connection issues, but we at Core Angels Impact, we invest in impact startups at a very early seed stage. Our main areas of investment are fintech and health tech, but we do have some deal flow that it is more or less related with the tourism sector. For instance, micromobility, sustainability design in hotels, green tech, agrotech, and environmental tech, a little bit that goes down the line with areas that are related with tourism and innovation in tourism. So this is our core activity right now. We have some investments already made, and our deal flow right now comes from all of Europe.
Yeah, sure. That's really nice to know. And Rui, what can you tell us about Indico? Indico Capital.
Hi, Fernando. Hi, you all. Thank you very much for having us here. So, my name is Rui. I'm a principal at Indico Capital Partners. It's a recent Portuguese VC. We launched our first fund in 2019, a 54 million euros fund, and we also have another small fund, a smaller fund, a pre-seed fund. That is linked to an acceleration program that we have with Google in Portugal. So basically, at Indico, we invest in any ICT vertical, from AI, big data, marketplaces, and e-commerce, micromobility as well. So we are really agnostic on terms of industry. Tourism is something that we look at it also. We currently have a portfolio of 19 companies. Actually, we are about to announce a new investment tomorrow. And basically, what we want to do is to invest in ambitious founders with great tech products that are solving big market problems. We are mainly focused in Portugal, although we can also invest abroad. Although the vast majority of our portfolio are Portuguese companies. We invest between 150,000 euros up to 5 million. And I think that's Indico in a nutshell.
Yeah. And what about you, Tasha? Can you tell us a little bit more about Olisip Way?
Hi guys. Yeah, sure. So thanks for having us. Thanks for the invitation. So my name is Tosha. I'm a managing partner in Olisip Way. So Olisip Way is an early stage investor. We essentially invest in tech related projects, and we look for founders that are looking for building the great businesses, but not binary businesses. So one of the things we don't look is companies that can either be a huge success or nothing. So we look for companies that can become break even fast and can be cash flow positive fast. So we're a group of entrepreneurs. We don't have a fund with LPs. We basically have a group of companies that some are profitable, some are startups. So not all of the companies we invest are startups, and we essentially invest the money that we make. So we build a very strong community. For us, that's our main strength is the founders that are around us, that have the same values, the same vision as us, and together they help us to help everyone, actually. That's it. So we invest in Portuguese-based companies only because that's the market that we know. That's the market where we can bring value. Besides the investments that we do, we're an early stage investor, so our tickets are quite small, but we look for these entrepreneurs that have the secret sauce. So because we mainly invest in B2B, but we also have B2C investments when there is a secret sauce of a way of acquiring customers that's not the normal paying ads and acquiring customers by that traditional method. So that's it. That's us.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. There is really that secret sauce. Um, Listen, tell me, everyone. It's like I know that all of you could invest in tourism startups, but maybe I think it would be interesting if you could share with us like one startup that you already invested. It doesn't need to be like in the tourism field, but you think that it would be a great example of something that you invested, and it's really it's a some startup that it's a really nice story, or it's a nice investment in your point of view. Any example of the investments you do? I don't know. Maybe we can follow the same order. Miguel, maybe you could start.
Okay, I can start. I would focus in the tourism area. We have 26 companies nowadays in our portfolio in the tourism area, 18 of which have been invested over the last 2 years, 12 in 2019 and 6 in 2020 during the pandemic. Maybe I would focus on HiGFi or HiGFi, even the entrepreneurs use both names. We've known HiGFi for quite a while, and it's one of the tech companies in tourism that managed to grow quite a lot during the pandemic. They do chatbots for hotels with a high response rate above 70%, and I would say that it's amazing that they could grow their MRR during the pandemic, but they did it, and also not only in Portugal but also in the Far East, where much of their traffic is completely inbound, because chatbots are more developed in the Far East. So I would say that that's definitely one of the events in our portfolio that we are looking forward to see how it goes.
Yeah, I see. And what about you, Afonso?
Yes, can you repeat the question for me?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. If you want
The
to, I
topic.
don't know, to tell us a story about, tell us about one startup that you invested and it was, I don't know, that is an example of your kind of investments in tourism field or not. It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, our direct investments right now, we have five active investments. None of them are from the tourism sector. They are impact startups from various sectors like health tech, fintech, green tech. But I would stress again that any idea or any project that may be fitted into the tourism sector, they could apply to our funding as long as they provide and as long as they help to tackle an environmental
Yeah.
or a social problem, and as long as they measure their impact. So
Yeah.
at the moment, I don't recall any application from a startup that comes directly from the tourism sector. But as I said, for instance, green tech, agrotech are all startups that have come to us, applied to our investment, and although they haven't managed to do so, they weren't able to be successful. The truth is that those startups are active. One of them has made a great way, meanwhile, and they are also supplying the tourism chain with vegetables and fresh fruit made organically and but within an industrial process. So there's always space to fit in the tourism sector for sure.
Yeah. No, and you'll see. After Aceler, you'll have a lot of tourism-related startups in your portfolio. You'll see.
A
You
lot,
have,
I wouldn't say, but one or two that
yeah,
we
yeah,
are open
you
to
know.
that. We
And
are kind of agnostic in terms of sector. We want the best teams and the best projects and the best
yeah,
ideas. So, yeah.
yeah, makes completely sense. Yeah. And what about you, Rui? What can you tell about
Well,
Indico?
we do not also have any tourism startup in our portfolio currently yet. We can have it,
Yeah,
and
you
of
have.
course, and of
Everyone, every
course,
startup that are hearing us right now, so you know what you need to do. Just apply to the Aceler program. I need to make, I need to tell something like this, and we can solve this. No
we are
problem.
okay, perfect. We're available to invest, so that's perfect. So for me, a nice for a VC investor and a very nice story is once we have a successful exit. So our fund is really recent. We didn't have that, still don't have that very nice story yet. But this team of Indico was before the team that was before leading the VC activity at Caixa Geral de Depósitos, one of the main Portuguese bank. And there, yes, we had some exposure to tourism startups and nice stories where we invested in the companies, helped them to build their business to growth. One of it's Non-News. It's a Portuguese company based in Oporto. They started with TV entertainment solutions for hotels, and then they expanded to other areas still within the hospitality industry, and the investment was very successful. We had a very good performance. We were very happy with the team. We believe in the market. At Indico, we are still building it. I don't know. Maybe I can highlight Barking, for instance. It's a e-commerce company for pet food, which when we invested, it was really early in their seed stage, and we helped the company, to triple their revenues, to create their own product, their own brands. After all, what we'd like to do is to work closely with companies, help them to grow, to build their business, and so everyone can gain from that.
Yeah, sure. And Tosha, what do you want to share with us?
Yeah, I think I was here thinking about which company to choose because they're all amazing, right?
Yeah.
But I think a good example for us would be the path that Riatia, a company in our portfolio, that did. So basically, invested very early in a PowerPoint presentation, and in 12 months, I can say in 12 months, they have built the platform and are already having enough revenue profit, which they have in the bank. They had in the bank the same amount that we invested. Okay, so this is in 12 months, which is amazing. It's an incredible team. And after that, basically the company was profitable, and we could choose, like, should we go through the investment rounds or should we just build a profitable company? We actually decided to do an additional investment because we really believe there are some opportunities that we could use with investments. So that's the reason. That's the type of company that we like to invest, which we can have a decision later if we will follow that path or not. So Riacha did follow that path. Actually, Portugal Ventures have invested with us in their second round. I think it's a very good example. But for in the tourism, we have also like Climber, for example. It's an incredible startup, incredible team. We do investment in smaller projects that needs maybe less than 50K, 20K to get started, and they can start generating revenue. So it's a bit about this kind of project that we look for, even in the tourism area. I think the main point I want to pass is we look for great entrepreneurs and people that have some kind of secret sauce on their idea and how to acquire clients and grow the company.
Sure, makes
Then,
sense.
then maybe I can share another example, which
Yeah, sure.
it's quite known. When we invested in Indie Campers, something like 5 or 6 years ago, Indie Campers had something like 4 or 5 vans. 2 years afterwards, when we exit, they had something like 400, and nowadays, Ubu and the CEO of Indie Campers has something like 2,000 vans spread throughout Europe. So this is a good example of something that we started very, very small, have already exited, but they've continued to grow and are nowadays quite huge Europe-wise.
No, and it's a good example of something that will perfectly happen to any startup that will join us, and that will try to launch in Portugal. Actually, that would be my next question. You don't need to answer. All of you just answer if you think it's nice. But it's my next question would be something like, why Portugal? Why do you think that a tourism startup should come to Portugal and not to any other country? Why choose us? I don't know if you can answer it any
I can
order.
start if you
I'm
guys don't
bringing the
mind.
chaos to bringing the chaos here to the discussion. But I think it will be more fluid this way. Tosha, be my guest.
Yeah, so it's actually a team that's very passionate for us. We've been exploring it a lot about how to build great companies in Portugal and why Portugal. So if you go online and you hear some talks, there are some basic stuff that everybody talks about. Clearly, the weather, the people we have, the cost of living, and the cost of labor too. So we have amazing programmers, amazing people doing several things, and that don't have the same cost that you would have outside Portugal. So that's great. But one of the things that we have is we're a small country. I think it's very interesting that because we're a small country, we can work anywhere in Portugal and we are close to everywhere, right? And at the same time, you have all these conditions and you can have an awesome lifestyle, work-life balance of the company that you're building. So for me, and the things that we're more passionate about is about taking that conversation out and explaining people that the quality of living is great. If you come here and build a business, you have some very good advantages, and at the same time, you can have an awesome lifestyle. So that's clearly the message that we've been trying to pass on.
Maybe Fernando can show you, put forward some numbers. We are the third most secure country in the world. The first one is Iceland, too cold, definitely. Second is New Zealand, too far away. We are the world's friendliest country, according to Forbes, and we have been voted as the world's best destination 3 times. Our main universities are quite good European-wise. We have the second biggest percentage of engineers out of university in Europe. And language-wise, more than 70% of our population age 18 to 64 speaks English, but sometimes also French and Spanish. 90% of the younger population between 18 and 24 speaks English, also French and Spanish, and over 97% of the university population speaks English and also French and sometimes some Spanish. So with quite a vibrant ecosystem, something like 3,000 startups, around 135 incubators and accelerators spread throughout Portugal, which is amazing for a country of this size. And regarding investment, there are about 100 investors being venture capitals, business angels, and similar.
Yeah, I see.
Well, I can say more or less the same. I think that the proof that we have here 4 people that are willing to invest and to meet new companies, there is capital available in Portugal. That's a very important matter, for startups to consider when choosing country. There is capital available. There is smart money available in Portugal. Of course, once you start to grow and you want to scale and you want to move to Series B and C, you should. At that stage, you need to raise money abroad, but pre-seed, seed until Series A, there is capital looking to invest in good companies here in Portugal.
Yeah, I agree with you all. Afonso, I don't know if you can hear us. I think.
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would just say, of course, I agree with everything that has been said by my colleagues in this panel. And of course, although Portugal is a great ecosystem to build startups related with tourism, we should never forget that, okay, we have very, very good skills and human resources skills and excellent weather, good communicating facilities, but let's not forget that there is a fierce competition in the tourism sector worldwide. And our startups that want to go strong in the tourism sector, they should be always looking to add value to our chain, to our value chain of tourism. Because I think in the future, the economies that will have more power in the tourism sector will be those that will be able to add value to the tourism sector, which sometimes I think is a little bit forgotten in Portugal. How to add value to that industry. And please, we should not forget that there is a fierce competition in terms of tourism worldwide. And there will be so as soon as this pandemic state of things finish.
Yeah, it's a really good point that you have made. Okay, I have another question that I think it's interesting to discuss. Portugal is quite famous for the bureaucracy and for the way we do things, that we need a lot of papers and a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of documentation. So one of the main things that people started to ask us when we launched this program was, okay, and in the investment field, how quick can I get invested? Imagine that I will go tomorrow and I make a pitch. It's they love me. We make perfect match with the investor. How quick can this happen? It's the first part of the question, and the second one, how bureaucratic it is. It's something really simple like a contract or something, or it's a process that will take, it will take a lot of time. Because I'm just asking this because the Portuguese are famous outside from being complicated on these kind of things.
I can start with that, and I would start to say that that's not fair. To be
Yeah,
honest,
I agree
that
with
is
you,
not
but
fair. Two things: I live abroad. I live in Spain. I'm here promoting Portugal, but I live in Spain actually.
okay.
And I cannot say that, for instance, Portugal is worse than Spain in nothing.
Okay.
In that first point. And then we also at Indico have investments abroad. We've invested in the US, we've invested in Germany, for instance. And all the different markets have different things. Ones are better, others are worse. I think that Portugal as a whole made a huge effort to digitalize many of the processes. Now, I cannot recall the last time that at Indico we signed a paper. We have been doing everything online. We raised the new fund. I didn't have any personal meeting. I didn't sign any paper. Almost everything online. So I think that's not fair. It's very easy to create a company in Portugal. Of course, there are some things that could be improved. I do not say that, but I don't think that we are worse than other relevant and with better press countries. Let's say for nothing.
No, I agree with you totally. It's just, you know, we are famous for it, so I needed to ask you. Because probably if I didn't ask, someone is thinking about it at home, so it was kind of my point. What do you think about that, the rest of the panel?
Fernando, I would say that the program that the government launched a few years ago, which is Empresa na Hora,
Yeah,
there aren't
correct.
many programs like that in the world when you can go to a place and in that exact time you can exit that place with the company incorporated. Okay, so this is not something that is widely available throughout the world. So this regarding the government and what Rui was telling about our bureaucracy. We have for quite a while we have definitely digitalized our government, and for example, all the tax and all IRS and company corporate tax is digitalized, and our process has been copied by countries like England, for example, to that have come to Portugal to learn what we have done and how we managed to have the accounts of almost all the companies in the country uploaded to the tax authority by the end of the first semester of the next year. Regarding investment and VC investment, what we usually see from the companies out portfolio that, like Afonso was saying, need to go abroad for the Series B, Cs, and all of that, is what we tell the companies that counted with at least 1 year to get a process, if successful, done. So outside of Portugal, it usually takes 1 year to have a new investment in an existing company. At Portugal Ventures and other VCs that we work in the market, we have partnered with almost all the VCs in Portugal. It usually takes us from submission to money in the bank something like 4 to 5 months. Obviously, we have examples that have gone over that period, but that also is related with the entrepreneurs and some needs of the entrepreneur to clean the house before entering a VC because they haven't done their work beforehand. So I would say we are definitely not out of the shadows that other VCs outside of Portugal use.
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
Ron,
Tosha,
can I just add something to that?
sure,
I
sure,
think
sure.
I completely agree. I think in Portugal it's not that complicated to create a company. Actually, we do most of the companies we invest because we do pre-seed. The company is not even created, so
Okay.
we actually create the company with the founder, or he creates it, and then we invest. So it's not a process that takes a long time. We've done it in, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months. I think the point here and what I wanted to pass is more, it really depends what kind of company you are building and what kind of strategy you want for the future, right? So Portugal is like a small market. So depending on the kind of product that you are building, it may make sense to do it in Portugal or not. So it really has to be analyzed according to your strategy. If you're coming to Portugal into our ecosystem in tourism, and you're not creating value in the chain, like we were talking here, then why do you come here? Maybe there are better markets for your product, right? So it really depends what are your goals of moving to here. If it's to have a good lifestyle and create a company that you need to test the market, maybe Portugal is good because we're a small market. It's easier to spread your platform, your idea, your business, and you can quickly get to bigger companies. For example, in Portugal, you can have a meeting with a big corporation in a much easier and faster way that you may probably have in United States or in France or UK, whatever, because we're a small ecosystem. So I think really it comes to the point of what value and what solution you're bringing. Because when the idea is clear and the value is clear, investors are eager to give you money, right? Yeah. Because we're looking for these kind of companies that are going to disrupt and bring value and create something that doesn't exist. So I would focus really on building a great company, trying to understand what the investors want, building on that, and you're going to have investment. And the bureaucracy is a small problem.
Yeah, sure, I understand. Afonso, what do you think?
Yeah, I would just say in terms of bureaucracy, I would say from a private investment point of view, I would say we're even as the main countries in Europe. I don't see a problem there, and I totally agree with Rui. But on the other hand, from a public investment or from a public support point of view, I must agree that the bureaucracy is very high. It's still very high. We may have almost full digitalized a scheme or full digitalized solution, but from the public investment or support, it's still all procedures or all applications, all the funds that are open there or public supports are very bureaucratic. We cannot say that it is not so. Yeah, and we invest in foreign companies, and we do have that feeling as well from those startups. For instance, we've just invested in a UK impact startup, and you don't even imagine, as Rui was telling, we did it all in like 7-8 days with all digital. I mean, extra easy access and extra easy support, and I mean, we still have a way to go. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a different approach, but yeah, I think that the main point here is we are not the worst. We can obviously have some things to do and to do better, but we are not as bad as probably you could think of. Okay, from the ones that are being from outside of Portugal. Okay. So, listen, I think that the big topic this last year was COVID, obviously, and everyone in around the world, no one was expecting COVID, and obviously COVID changed a lot of things, and in the tourism industry, probably it's the industry that was more changed by COVID, probably. And I would like to hear from you, what do you think that will be the future of the tourism industry after COVID? What do you think that will change, if you see that there will be any kind of tendency, any kind of main field inside the tourism industry that will be bigger than the others on the next years, What do you think about that? What will change because of COVID in the tourism industry? And actually, not just the industry itself, but in the investment in the industry also, in the tourism. Anyone can start. Tosha, be my guest.
Okay. We personally think there is a big market that's going to open, which is related to digital nomads and digital founders. Okay, so this is related to what I was talking before. So after COVID, things are going to take a bit of time to get on track like they were before COVID, of course. Eventually, tourism is going to come back. So we're going to have the tourism that we had before in Portugal. But I think now we're going to have a huge opportunity of people who are building companies that are remote and everyone can work everywhere. So that's a big opportunity for the tourism area, especially the interior of Portugal, to have these facilities, to have these tools. So you're going to need new platforms. We're going to need new ways to organize the remote working, how to organize people working in different time zones, how to manage all this work and workflow. So a lot of opportunities there for platforms, a lot of opportunities in tourism for opening new spaces, co-working spaces, remotes. So for example, before maybe we should work everybody working in the same office, we're doing the same company. Maybe now we can have in the same co-working space different people working for example, doing marketing management for different companies, and just the marketing managers are all together in a co-working space and they're bringing value to themselves. So these kind of ideas and these kind of different remote working organizations for companies, I think it's a huge opportunity for tourism, and that's something that we're clearly looking for.
Okay, yeah, I see. And I don't know. What about you, Miguel, for example? What do you think about?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. I would say we are still
Yeah,
looking to see what happens after COVID. I usually say that we are in the sandstorm, that sometimes is closer, sometimes it's more far away, and but it's still there, and we didn't think it was there 1 year ago when we started all this. It would still be there. I would say that there are two things, which is digitalization, as Rui was saying. He signed all the contracts of the fund without signing it physically, all digitally. And I think this digitalization going into the tourism area, namely, for example, hospitality, will accelerate. There are still a lot of tourism companies. The number is quite mind-boggling, but there are something like 20% of the tourism companies in Portugal, not namely in the hospitality business, that don't have any digital presence on the internet. Okay, not a site, not a Facebook page, Instagram, or booking through Booking. Okay,
yeah,
something strange in the 21st century when we are. So this will definitely accelerate this digitalization, and also hopefully we've seen in this pandemic that people are more conscious about ecology and their footprint, and well, the projects that work on that, I believe, may see some acceleration also in this context.
yeah. And what, I don't know, Rui or Afonso.
Yeah, well, I agree with everything that has been said. It's although I'm sure that new opportunities will arise, it's still not clear when or how, right? But what is clear from now is that if we look at hospitality, for instance, companies are putting a lot of effort in digitalizing all its processes.
Yeah,
That is going from customer experience even to maintenance, for instance. These companies are also looking ways to optimize their costs. So they are actively looking for solutions that would improve their operations. And they are, this crisis, I think, that urge the need of, for instance, hotels to bet on that. I'm sure that opportunity will arise soon.
yeah,
Let's see when. But yeah, we are positive on that at Indico.
yeah. And
I
Afonso, what
just
do you
would
think?
have, I could add an argument. What a few months ago, I read an article that said that this COVID problem was a problem of the humans, the human race, going to zones or contacting with animals that weren't supposed to be in contact with humans, because the COVID, I think it originates in a contact with savage species and the human species. And this is a clear sign of a climate change, of an unbalanced shift between humans and the nature. And if it is so, maybe if Portugal will make a bet on sustainable ecotourism, maybe we could go on the forefront of the race of the tourism sector. So this is just a thought, just an idea, but maybe in the future people will look to ecotourism or sustainable tourism ways of doing so.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So,
Fernando, and let me put some money behind that, what I've said. We have just invested in a company in the Algarve that is it's doing tourism activities, but with solar boats, electro-solar boats. They had a small boat already in operation. They are now investing in the catamaran, a bigger one, but also solar-powered, solar-powered to do all their activities. So this is how we are putting our money also on what we are doing, behind what we are doing.
yeah, I see.
Yeah, great example. Yeah.
So, listen, I would have more questions for you, but actually we are running out of time. So I think that we will start with questions from the audience. Okay, I would invite anyone that have a question that wants to ask to our speakers, our guests, to put on Acredita Portugal or Aceler Facebook page, or at YouTube, Acredita Portugal YouTube page, because if you put on one of our partners that are reposting this video, we will not able to see your questions, okay? We have some that we have already seen before, but please try to copy your questions to our pages, because that's the way it will be easier for us to see your question. We will not have time to make all the questions we have received, okay? Because we are running out of time. But I will put here some of them, and I will start with a question that we received from someone that was in Singapore, I think, and wouldn't be able to be here because, you know, the time difference is really huge. And they just sent us a message, and we'll see this later. And the question is, do I have to move to Portugal to get investments? And do my main office needs to be in Portugal to get investment from you? Or you think that it's possible to like have an operation? I guess that the question is it's possible to some company have clients outside of Portugal, work outside of Portugal, and have some presence here and receive investment from you also? Do the main office needs to be here in Portugal?
I can reply for us, yes. That's one of the rules that we have in our in the way we invest. So we need to have the headquarters in Portugal, but that's not. It doesn't have to be like that. There are a lot of investors who invest in any company, I think. But you guys can tell you what do you think?
Yeah, we can invest outside of Portugal. Sorry, Miguel.
Go.
We can invest outside of Portugal, although we are always looking for at least an Iberian angle. You know, have a tech center of Portuguese founder. Of course, that we would prefer for having a Portuguese office, Portuguese headquarters, but for us, it's not mandatory.
At Portugal Ventures, our main LP in the tourism area is the Tourism Board of Portugal. So for us, nowadays, it's mandatory to have the headquarters in Portugal, so that our investment is in Portugal, and have the main team here. We have invested in companies, for example, in 2019 outside of Portugal, but nowadays we are definitely focused we have invested in Israel, and we have invested in Canada. But nowadays all our investments will be, for the time being, in Portuguese companies, with foreign entrepreneurs, with teams outside of Portugal, but there will have to be a core team here.
Yeah. And Afonso, on Core Angels, how do?
From our side, there's no limitation whatsoever. But I would say that for now, with our firing range, it is hard for us to consider investments outside of Europe.
Yeah, I see.
At least you have to be based in Europe. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And besides, friend, let me add: if you want to build a business in Portugal, why wouldn't you come to Portugal? Like the best stuff are here.
Yeah, I agree with you. But actually, this connects with another question that we received. That it's, do you count if my clients is not in Portugal? Or what? I think that it means that if the company is here, but they had already clients outside, it's probably they will not be counted as sales in the Portuguese company. But do you consider it somehow?
On our side, no problem. We need to have the headquarters of the company here, some core team here, but obviously the clients can be in Portugal and outside of Portugal. I would say that we are talking about tech companies. It's not reasonable to expect that the company will only have clients in Portugal. I would say it's mandatory that they, in the near future, look for clients outside of Portugal. In rest of Europe or in the US, something like that. So client-wise, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Exactly the same for us. So that's even a good sign, not to have clients
Yeah,
outside of Portugal.
definitely.
So
No, actually, because there are a lot of startups that are already working on their countries and are probably they are looking for this program as a way to come to Portugal and to start to have business in Europe, probably, or even they are already in Europe to start to have business in another country. So probably, I think that the main concern here would be okay. I will not start from zero. Okay, it's already a business that it's working outside, and I'm just trying to discover a new market, or I'm trying to grow in another geography. But I already started to do some work. I think that probably it's the main concern.
Fernando,
That
for the startups that are looking to come to Portugal, I would say that they should look to the website of Startup Portugal,
Yeah, sure.
startupportugal.com. There's a lot of information there. There is a lot of incentives there. It's a good way to start looking for information of what the advantages are of coming to Portugal, and there are a lot. Namely, for example, that our engineers are definitely have way cheaper, unfortunately for some, way cheaper than the rest of Europe. You can have engineers here that is one fourth or one third of the cost that you'll have them in Germany, and probably one fifth of what you have in Israel, for example.
Yeah.
And that's good, definitely.
Okay. I think that. Do you want to add something? I will move on to the next question. This is a different one. Actually, Jose is asking us if you believe that it will be important to make Portugal more attractive, to make it easier to close the companies. I think I know it's a different approach. We don't think usually about this, but probably I don't know what happened with Jose. But you think that it will be it will be make Portugal more attractive if it will be easier if something doesn't go right, and if it sometimes it happens the startup don't work at some point. If it will be better for Portugal if it will be easier to close companies here. What do you think about this?
Can I go first, because I just have an idea.
Sure.
I don't say that would be a major issue. I think what we should have is a fiscal a tax law specific on startups, with incentives for startups. That would be general, at least in terms of sector. That is what I think is missing in Portugal. So I would put the focus on the building the thing up, building the value, building the ecosystem, and not so much the question how is the scheme if things go wrong. I mean,
I think what's important for us to talk here is that it's the acceptance of failure and understanding that when you're creating startups as innovative as we're looking for, it's normal that they fail. And I don't know exactly all the details about the difficulty of closing the companies. I think it's quite normal as it works in other places. But that's important, is understanding, failing is part of it. So just move on and go to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. And the difficulty in closing the company is not something usually that the entrepreneur is looking for when they are starting a company in Portugal. It's important how easy it is to set up the company, not how much it is to close the company. Although Portugal do have some way to improving the procedures to close a company, definitely.
Okay, I agree with you. Maybe I will move on to the next question. I don't know if no. Okay. So Ricardo is actually asking us what is the best characteristics that you are looking for in the startups to facilitate applying for an investment. I think it's more referring to the secret sauce that Tosha have told us before. What are the ingredients of the secret sauce? You know.
Well, I would answer with an answer that one of the entrepreneurs of the companies about portfolio that answered in the public presentation about a year ago. He said that he put that question to me about 2 years ago, something like that, and my answer was team, 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 and I still have that opinion. So we don't invest in business plans; we do invest in teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And
Actually, every time I look at, I totally agree with Miguel. I think that it's the most important factor. Every time that I look for to an opportunity, I always make three questions. Now, the first is this the right team to lead a world-class project? Because that's what you're looking for, world-class project. Then is, does the company can be or can have a relevant player in its industry worldwide? We do not invest in local projects, as good as they may be. That's not just it's not our investment thesis. And the last one is if the business model or the product has any sort of competitive advantage or differentiation from the current offer. So that would be the three yes that we would need to get to start to look at the company.
yeah, I see, and I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I definitely agree. I would just add that as investors, we are always receiving pitches for companies and for startups, and we have the privilege to see a lot more ideas than maybe entrepreneurs sometimes understand of how many they exist. And when we're talking about secret sauce and the things that we're going to build, is actually you need to have some kind of differentiation and have a good research about what has been done, what failed, what succeeded, even in other markets, what succeeded and could succeed in the market that you are. So really looking into what people have built, because I see that as a big mistake. A lot of times people just have an idea and think nobody else thought about this. Probably they did. It's like 99.999 sure percentage they did. So go and see what they have done wrong. Talk with the founders, because even if the company already closed, the founder is open to talk about that, and really finding a way of how you're going to be different from where is the market and the value that you're bringing, and essentially having a strategy that will allow you to acquire users and build your company and bring revenue, because companies is about revenue and about billing your clients for a service or value that you provide. So the secret sauce is complicated. It's not something you can put in words that easy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's one of that sauces that are not so hard when you read the list of ingredients, but when you start trying to make it, it will be really hard to get it right? Okay, Afonso, what do you think?
No, besides what Rui and Tasha said, I would just add that in our case, we are also looking for, we apply a lockstep model. I mean, as long as the startup sells more or implements more their solution or innovation, as long as that happens, we will have an extra impact on a social or an environmental issue. So we have that extra requirement, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's doable. So
I see.
yeah.
Well, I think that we don't have a lot more time, okay? I will select just two more questions that I think it's more common in our audience. The first one is, okay, the question is not really well made, but it's about the limitations that someone could have by being a foreign citizen. Like, what kind of limitations do you think that could be in investing in someone that doesn't have the Portuguese side yet? Someone that is just having like an authorization to live in Portugal. Will that be a problem for you? Not be a problem for you? Because the projects that will came here will probably will get the visa for 1 year if they are not from inside the European Union. Will that be a problem for you or not?
For us, as we all can also invest abroad, it's not a
Yeah.
key issue for
Okay. Yeah.
us.
So yeah, makes sense.
That's not something we've come across, so I really don't know that about that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. I think it will be common to everyone, maybe, right? Okay, so in that case, I have another question. That it's what are your vision, your opinion about co-investments with the funds that you didn't work yet from another countries? Probably this is a startup that already have like a fund that is already interested in investing in his country, and I don't know, probably is thinking about coming and looking for a co-investment or something like that. But are you open to discuss co-investments with funds that you didn't work yet and they are from other countries?
On our side, glad to co-invest with everybody on the Portuguese ecosystem as well as outside of Portugal. We've done it quite often and totally open to it.
Yeah, same here. The more the better.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Just saying, the more the better. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that I think that most of our co-investors are from outside of Portugal,
Okay.
probably. Although we have
Yeah,
co-investments with Core, with Olisipo, and with 12 Ventures as well.
Yeah.
yes, for Core Angels Impact as well, it's the same. 2/3 of our investments are actually co-investments, so with national or foreign entities. So no problem there.
Okay. And Tosh?
Yeah, no, like I said,
Yeah.
no, not an issue. We invest very early stage, so for us it's important that we like to come in the first round. That's where we believe we have more value. So if it's a co-investment on the first investment round, no problem.
Yeah. I see. Well, we are getting really out of time. We had some interesting questions here at the comments, some about the plan of recovery here in Portugal, and some a lot about a lot of things. We will not have time to make all these questions, but I will ask everyone from the that have sent us questions that we didn't answer yet to please send to Acredita Portugal, to Aceler Tech directly using our website, and we will try to answer, and we can send it to our guests if we couldn't answer to you, okay? More because we have some more specific questions, okay, that it wouldn't make sense to spend time here, and because I promised you that we will take only 45 minutes to 1 hour, and we are already in 1 hour and 3 minutes, so we are really running out of time. I would really like to thank you for being here, for your experience, and for this sharing. I think it was really nice, really interesting to the projects that was hearing us. I think that probably I hope that this talk, these small debates, this small discussion made the startups really think about Portugal as a place to come and to consider it as a place to start their startups, because we need this kind of innovation. We are one of the countries that is more welcome to receive startups from outside. So I would like to really thank you for being here. And I would like also to remind everyone that is listening to us that we will have this kind of talks every Wednesday from now until the applications end. Okay, so every Wednesday at 4 p.m. GMT time, we will have this kind of discussions. We will discuss different things, obviously not just investment. Like next week, I think we will discuss like the opportunities in the restaurants and the food industry related with the tourism. We will have one day that we will discuss just just about the hotels. We will have different discussions. You can see all the details on our website. But don't forget, it's always at Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Always the same time, and these sessions are being recorded, so you can always watch it later if you want. And don't forget, the applications are open to Aceler, so if you are really thinking about gaming and you think that this was a nice debate, probably if you apply, probably will have the opportunity to pitch your startup to all these investors, because we are working with you all on the program. Thanks again, and see you soon. Thank you. Thank you. It was a really nice debate. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.